Yai bye bim bim bum, ya bye bim bum. Yai bye bim bim bum, ya bye bim bum. Ay ya bye bim bum. Ay ya bye bim bum. Join me, yai bye bim bim bum, ya bye bim bum. Yai bye bim bim bum, ya bye bim bum. Ay ya bye bim bum. Ay ya bye bim bum. Please ignore the slide that says yai lies and bye-byes and all of those things are interchangeable. So, Shabbat Shalom. What a gift it is for us to be here together on this Shabbat. I'm Rabbi Michael Weiss. I'm joined here tonight by all of you, and of course, Tara Swartzbaugh, who is our accompanist, bringing such beautiful music to our service. Jan Kanapik is our person who makes sure all of the technology works. This is the modern synagogue, and there are many modern concerns. And we're all just so happy to be here to make an amazing Shabbat experience for everybody. For those of you joining us here in the sanctuary, welcome home. We're so happy to have you. For those of you joining us from the small sanctuary of your own homes, we feel your presence here. We really believe here at Schaarai Zedek that when you make our Shabbat experience a part of your Shabbat, your home becomes an extension of our sanctuary. So, we're all going to turn around to the camera and wish everybody at home a big Shabbat Shalom. So Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. We are so happy to have you with us. I'm going to keep saying how happy I am because it's one of those weeks that we all really need Shabbat. As we go through our service tonight, everything that you will need will be on the screens up here if you're at home. They'll be on the bottom thirds of your own screen. And for those of us in here, I would encourage you to take out your phone, right? Oh my gosh, imagine that. And then do this where you turn it off. Or silence it, just in case. But being able to be present here together, disconnecting a little bit. We're always so connected. And Shabbat helps us connect with each other in a different kind of way. If you're at home, if turning off your device would turn off the service, then don't do that. But if you have like another phone or an iPad or, the radio on, then maybe turn those off, minimize some distractions. Now, for those of you who don't want to be staring at a screen the whole time, we have an alternative for our service, our Mishkan Tefillah prayer book, which you'll find in the seat back in front of you. And what's great about that is that there are all kinds of really wonderful things in there. So if you get a little distracted, if you need to look at something else, crack open that book. If you're learning Hebrew too, it's very helpful if you're working on your prayers. It's really okay to be on a different page from everybody else. It is your Shabbat experience. You get to determine how it's going to be meaningful. And we all come to our Shabbat service with a lot of different needs. And to meet some of those needs, you'll find our Shalom station out in the Schimberg Grand Foyer. It's right outside that door. We have reading glasses. We have large print prayer books. We have headphones for anyone with auditory sensitivities. And we have bags of quiet fidget toys for anybody of any age for whom that would be helpful in having a meaningful experience here at our service. We also will be asking the congregation to rise at certain times during the service. If that is physically uncomfortable, please, please, please remain seated. We know that you'll be standing with us in your hearts. And Shabbat really, really is a gift. Because so often we're plugged in, we're working away. Even the terminology we use, right? We take time to recharge. We're not computers. We're not machines. We're people. And Shabbat is a time that helps us get more in touch with the most human parts of ourselves, our creativity, our love for others, our ability to just be in the world, a privilege that we aren't afforded everywhere in our lives. So I hope on this Shabbat, you'll take the opportunity to get in touch with those parts of yourself. And the last thing I'll say, I'm a rabbi, the music tonight is going to be a lot of very familiar tunes. They're the ones that I knew growing up. They're a lot of the ones that you'll have known growing up. If you don't know them, then you can feel free to yai-lai along with us so that they can become a part of your Shabbat. We can make new Shabbat memories with well-worn, tried and true Shabbat melodies. And I hope that you'll all join in and sing with me as we go through in whatever ways you're comfortable. So, for those of you joining us from home, now's the time to get your Shabbat candles ready. And we know that there is so much warmth and light in here that our Shabbat candles will suffice for all of us. So let's bless our candles. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Amen. Now, if you're at home, you can get a little bit of Kiddush sweetness, and we are going to say our Kiddush. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reshit Yom Techila Lemikra Kodesh Zecher Letziat Mitzrayim Kivanu Vacharta Beotanu Kidashta Mikol Hamim V'Shabbat Shecha be'ahava uvratzon inchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat. Amen. L'chaim. We will begin our service tonight with Lecha Dodi as we welcome in the Sabbath bride. Lecha Dodi likrat kala yalalai 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 bnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala yalalai 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 bnei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dipor echad Yishmianu el hamyuchad Adonai echad Ushmo echad L'shem ultiferet v'litila L'chadodi likrat kalai alalai 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 Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kalai alalai 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 Shabbat nekabela. Hitoreri kiva ore kumi ori uri shir taberi Kevod Adonai alayich nigla. Lecha dodi likrat kalai alalai 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 pnei Shabbat nekavela. Lecha dodi likrat kalai alalai 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 pnei Shabbat nekavela. Boi v'shalom ateret bala gam besimcha u'tohola toch emunei am segula boi chala. Everybody. Lecha dodi likrat kalai alalai 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 pnei Shabbat nekavela. Lecha dodi likrat kalai alalai 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 pnei Shabbat nekavela. I'll just say, as Tara pointed out, you can tell it's old school Jewish stuff because it's all in D minor. So just about. Let's read together. We offer thanks, O God, for this Shabbat, which unites us in faith and hope. For Shabbat holiness, which inspires sacred living. For Shabbat memories glowing even in darkness. For Shabbat peace born of friendship and love. We offer thanks and blessing, O God. We rise together in our places or in our hearts for the Barchu. Yai la lai lai yai lai 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 lai. Yai la lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 yai lai 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 lai. Yai la lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 yai lai 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 lai. Yai la lai lai yai lai 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 lai. Baruch et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach. HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. HaMevorach, HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. How wonderful, O God, are the works of your hands. The heavens declare your glory. The arch of sky displays your handiwork. In your love, you have given us the power to behold the beauty of your world, robed in all its splendor. The sun and the stars, the valleys and hills, the rivers and lakes, all disclose your presence. The roaring breakers of the sea tell of your awesome might. The beasts of the field and the birds of the air bespeak your wondrous will. In your goodness, you have made us able to hear the music of the world, the raging of the winds, the whisperings of trees in the wood, and the precious voices of loved ones reveal to us that you are in our midst. A divine voice sings through all creation. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem, Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Vaed. And we are seated, and we'll continue the Shema with Ve'ahavta. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavcha uvechol nafshecha uvechol me'odecha, v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele, asher anochi mitzavecha, hayom alevavecha, v'shinantam levanecha, v'dibarta bam, b'shivtecha b'veitecha, uvlachtecha v'derech, uvshochbecha uvkumecha, ukshartam leot al yadecha, v'hayu letotafot bein einecha, uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha, uvisharecha, leman tizkeru va'asitem et kol mitzvotai, vitem kedoshim lelohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem, asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, liot lachem le'elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem. We'll read together. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together. This should sound a little familiar, everybody. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar ba'kodesh, nora tehilot osefele, nora tehilot osefele. Yai bye bye bim bim bam, ya bye 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 bim bam, yai bye bye bim bim bam, ya bye 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 bim bam, ay 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 ay, ya bye 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 bim bam, ay 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 ay, ya bye 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 bim bam. Ma'alechutecha ra'u fanecha, okay ayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, ze'eli anu ve'amru, Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed. V'ne'emar ki fada Adonai et Yaakov, u'ge'alo mi'ad chazak mimenu, Baruch ata Adonai Gal Yisrael. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up, waiting to do your will. Together, Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. Blessed are you, Adonai, whose shelter of peace is spread over us, over all your people Israel, and over Jerusalem. We'll now join together in Vishamru as we sing about the joy of keeping Shabbat and the ways that Shabbat has kept us. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et Shabbat, Lasot et HaShabbat Lidorotam Berit Olam, Vishamru B'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat, Lasot et HaShabbat Lidorotam Berit Olam, Ve'ni uvein B'nei Yisrael, Oti le'olam, Oti le'olam, V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat, Lasot et HaShabbat lidorotam berit olam. Ki sheshat yamim asa Adonai, et hashamayim ve'et haaretz, v'shamru b'nei Yisrael et hashabbat, lasot et hashabbat lidorotam berit olam. Uvayom hashvi'i shavat vayinafash, Shavat vayinafash, V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat, Lasot et HaShabbat lidorotam berit olam. We'll rise together in our places or in our hearts for the Amidah. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi agid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei hakol, v'zocher chastei avot v'imahot, umevi geula livnei v'neihem, lema'an shemo be'ahava, melech ozer umoshia umagen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah. Atah gibor le'olam Adonai, mechaye hakol atah rav lehoshia, morid hatal, mechalkel chayim bechesed, mechaye hakol berachamim rabim. Somech noflim verofei cholim, umatir asurim, umekayem emunato lishenei afar, michamocha ba'al gevurot, umidom elach, Melech meimit umechayeh umatzmiach Yeshua, v'ne'eman atah lehachayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai mechayeh hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, Ukadoshim b'chol yom yahallelu chasela. Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh. And we are seated. We'll read responsively. For the blessings which you lavish upon us in forest and sea, in mountain and meadow, in rain and sun, we thank you. For the blessings you implant within us, joy and peace, meditation and laughter, we are grateful to you. For the blessings of friendship and love, of family and community, for blessings we ask of you and those we cannot ask. For the blessings you bestow upon us openly and those you give us in secret, for the blessings we recognize and those we fail to recognize, for the blessings of our tradition and of our holy days, for the blessings of return and forgiveness, of memory, of vision, and of hope. For all these blessings which surround us on every side, O God of the universe, hear our thanks and accept our gratitude. Now here it is. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulcha na'el hodot. Blessed are you, Adonai. Your name is goodness, and you are worthy of thanksgiving. And so we can take a moment to live out this blessing of being grateful for what we have in our lives. I invite you to turn to someone next to you at this time and share something that you are grateful for on this Shabbat. And if you're at home, you could send someone a text or talk to someone on the couch. Hey, very good things happen when people are talking. This is very good to hear. And I hope that as we go through the Shabbat, we'll continue to share the things that we're grateful for. It's okay to not be shy about that. The more gracious we are for what we have in our lives, the more we can truly appreciate them, and the more it makes us want to bring those things to other people as well. And something that it's hard to be grateful for sometimes because we need it so desperately in so much of the world is the great gift of peace. And so we'll sing Shalom Rav tonight to give us the energy and the inspiration to build peace in every way we can with our own hands. So let us join together in Shalom Rav. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov be'einecha levarech et amcha Yisrael b'chol heit u'b'chol shah b'shlomecha. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Vasim Leolam. And as we ask for healing of the world through peace, we also ask for healing of our loved ones, those who are ailing in mind, body, and spirit, those recovering from COVID-19 and its after effects, those who lie in dark rooms of despair, all of those medical professionals who work so hard and give so much of themselves to take care of the people we love. As we offer our prayer for healing tonight, Misha Berach, I invite you to hold anyone that you're thinking about in need of healing very tightly in your heart, so tight that they are still there when you leave this room on Shabbat, with the energy, the inspiration to send them a message, to let them know that you care in all of the myriad ways that we've been given the opportunity to show our love to other people. So let us sing together our prayer for healing, Misha Berach. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. We now take what might be the first quiet moment we've had all week to sit in silence, to be with ourselves, to find the prayer inscribed on our hearts. Shalom Bimroma, Uyase Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Ve'imru, Imru, Amen. Yase Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Yase Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yase Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yase Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. The slides were doing their own silent prayer there, so. Long ago, in the faraway city of Tangiers, there lived a Jewish widow and her 7 children. She had to work from dawn until dusk to feed her large family. The woman's eldest son, Yosef, was only 10 years old, but he tried to help his mother as much as he could. Every day, except Saturday, Yosef went to the marketplace to sweep the shopkeepers' stalls and keep their baskets full of fresh fruits and vegetables. Because he was such a good worker, the shopkeepers gave Yosef a small bag of rice, a few oranges, and every now and then a treat of nuts and dates to take home to his family. Young Yosef rested only on Shabbat. How he loved and honored that holy day. On Friday evenings, his mother lit the Shabbat candles and said a blessing. Then Yosef, holding his glass high, said the Kiddush over the wine, and raising the challah, he said the blessing over this special Shabbat bread. After that, Yosef and all the children turned to the door and sang a song welcoming the Sabbath queen. Come, O Sabbath queen, and bring peace and blessing on thy wing. Then they had their finest meal of the week, with candles glowing brightly around them. On Saturday mornings, Yosef and his brothers walked to the synagogue to pray. Yosef did not travel or do any work on Shabbat because it was forbidden, and he knew that a peaceful Shabbat gave him the strength to work hard the rest of the week. One day, when Yosef was working in the market, he saw a stranger speaking to one of the shopkeepers. He overheard the man ask where a certain family could be found, and Yosef ran over. "That's my family," he cried. "Let me take you to my family home." And when they arrived there, the stranger handed Yosef's mother a letter. Then he bowed and left. Yosef's mother read the letter and turned pale. "What's the matter, mother?" the children asked. Their mother answered, "Strange news has come our way. It seems that your father had an uncle who lived in the city of Cairo, in the land of Egypt. And when he died, there was no one to leave his fortune to, so he left it to us." Hearing this, the children gasped. Soon they would have money for food, and maybe even a few new clothes, a sock or a hat. Yet their mother still looked worried. "The money would be a great blessing," she said, "but I would have to travel all the way to Egypt to claim it. How can I take 7 young children on such a long journey? I have no one to leave you with, and you're too young to be left alone." "Please, mother," said Yosef, "let me go to Cairo to get it." "But Yosef, you are too young. The sun is very hot. Wild animals live in the desert. No. It would not be safe for you to cross the desert." "Please, mother," begged Yosef, "have faith in God. Hasn't God sent us a great blessing? We must not ignore it." When Yosef's mother saw how strong her son's faith was, she finally agreed to let him go. But it was very expensive to cross the desert in a caravan. Yosef's mother emptied all the hidden boxes in which she had been saving money for Passover and found just enough for the journey. Then she rushed out of the house to pay the caravan leader for Yosef's trip. Because Yosef would not travel on Shabbat, she asked the caravan leader if they would agree to rest on Shabbat, but the leader said, "It's dangerous to rest in the hot desert where wild animals attack. If you want us to stop on Shabbat, you'll have to pay more." And the man named a large sum of money. Yosef's mother was shocked. She had already given him all her savings. What else could she do? So the poor woman sold her golden wedding ring, the only valuable possession she had left. Then she gave the money to the leader of the caravan in exchange for his promise to rest on Shabbat. The caravan left Tangiers early Sunday morning. In his sack, Yosef carried a letter from his mother explaining that she had sent her son to collect the family's inheritance. He also took a pouch with candles, a small bottle of wine, a wine cup, and a little challah his mother had baked, so he could celebrate Shabbat even when he was far from home. So too did he bring a wooden spice box and a candle with many wicks for the blessing at the end of Shabbat. The caravan trudged through the vast desert. Everywhere Yosef looked, he saw sand and nothing but sand. The days passed slowly. The camels walked carefully across the burning dunes, and the caravan would rest only when it was almost dark. Then Yosef would climb down from the camel and help the man set up the tents for the night and gather brush for the campfire. And at the first sight of dawn, the caravan would once again be on its way. 6 long days passed. And finally, it was Friday afternoon, almost the eve of Shabbat. Yosef went to the leader of the caravan to remind him of their agreement. "What agreement?" the man asked, much to Yosef's dismay. "I don't know of any agreement." "Why, my mother sold her wedding ring and paid you to stop on Shabbat. You promised," shouted Yosef, beginning to cry. The leader of the caravan stared boldly into Yosef's eyes. "We are going on," he said, "for there is still a bit of daylight left, and tomorrow we will ride all day. If you want to come with us, then come. If not, stay here by yourself in the desert." Yosef looked up and saw that before long the sun would be setting, and he knew that he had to prepare for Shabbat. "Well, are you coming?" asked the caravan leader, his voice nasty and impatient. Poor Yosef wanted to continue with the caravan where he would be safe. But no matter what the dangers were, even if he were to be lost in the desert forever, Yosef could not break Shabbat. And so his answer to the leader was firm. "No, I'm not going. Go on without me. I must stay behind." And as the camels of the caravan left, he watched them disappear into the distance until he could see nothing but a cloud of dust. The sun was setting and Shabbat was about to begin. Yosef knew that he must light the campfire quickly before the sun had set, and that he must put enough brush on the fire to burn throughout the night. This he did, and then as it grew dark, he sat down and sang his song to the Sabbath queen. "Come, O Sabbath queen, and bring peace and blessing on thy wing." There Yosef sat, surrounded by the desert, without even a tree for shelter, with only the fire to keep the wild animals away. He was afraid, so he closed his eyes and prayed with all his heart. But when he opened them, he saw something that made him tremble. For there in the distance was a huge lion moving swiftly in his direction. As the lion came closer, Yosef froze in terror, certain that his life was about to end. But when the lion was so close that Yosef could almost touch it, the huge beast quietly lay down at his feet. Yosef was afraid that the lion would pounce on him, but when it turned its head, Yosef saw that its eyes were kind. Then he opened his pouch and took out the candles, the challah, the wine, and the wine cup. He lit the candles in the fire, and in a clear voice he recited all the blessings. As he did so, he was filled with a feeling of peace, as if he were at home celebrating the Shabbat with his mother and his brothers and sisters. Soon after, he fell asleep. Yosef awoke at dawn, and there was the lion still watching over him. The hours of the day passed. Yosef sang Shabbat songs and recited Shabbat prayers. He felt as calm and peaceful as he had the night before. And never during all that time did the lion move from where it lay. Yosef was glad that he was not alone. He was thankful for the company of his Shabbat friend. At last the sun set, and Yosef took out his wooden spice box, the candle with many wicks, and a cup of wine, and he said the special prayers for the end of Shabbat. All this time the lion seemed to listen patiently, And then, when the prayers were over, the lion's kind eyes looked into Yosef's. That is when Yosef understood what had happened. The Shabbat queen had sent the lion as a wonderful present to protect him. He stroked the lion's mane and put his arms around its neck. The lion brushed its tail against its back, which was the lion's way of telling Yosef to climb onto its back. And no sooner did Yosef do so that the lion raced off across the desert, with the boy clinging to its mane while the moon and stars lit their way. Soon they arrived at an oasis where there were lush fig trees and a clear freshwater pool. After a long, cool drink and a meal of figs, Yosef felt much better. He said a prayer of thanks, and then he and the lion set off once again. Early Sunday morning, Yosef saw a cloud of dust in the distance. It was the caravan the lion had caught up in only one night. And when the travelers saw a great lion with someone riding on it, they were terrified. They quickly threw themselves down before Yosef, afraid that the lion would devour them all. The caravan leader watched in fear as the lion brought Yosef directly to him. In a shaky voice, he welcomed Yosef back and asked him to be the new leader. He also gave back every penny Yosef's mother had paid him, and never again did he break a promise for as long as he lived. So it was that Yosef and the Shabbat lion led the caravan all the rest of the way to Cairo. There they rode through the narrow streets where people screamed and scattered this way and that, running from the huge beast coming toward them. Soon the lion, with the boy still on its back, arrived at the office where Yosef was to collect the money. From their hiding places, everyone watched in amazement as the lion stood guard while Yosef went inside. A short time after, he came out, clutching 2 bags of silver coins, jumped on the lion's back, and rode away. Yosef and the lion sped through the desert once more, and before long, Yosef saw the walled city of Tangiers, where his mother, brothers, and sisters awaited him. Suddenly, the lion stopped. Yosef knew that the lion had completed its task. The time had come to bid his friend goodbye. He petted the lion and hugged it hard. The lion nodded as it rubbed against Yosef, and then it ran off into the desert and disappeared. With one last look behind him, Yosef passed through the gates of the city and hurried down the streets of Tangiers to his home. When Yosef's family saw that he had returned unharmed, they said prayers of thanks. And now that he had completed his task, the family could buy food and clothing, and yes, even a silver spice box for the closing of Shabbat. And every Shabbat after that, the children begged Yosef to tell them his story, and he gladly did. For never did a Shabbat pass that he did not remember the Shabbat queen and the wonderful lion that she sent to him. Shabbat Shalom. That's you end a story. And that was an old Jewish folktale from Morocco, actually. So there are all kinds of wonderful Jewish stories from all over the place, but the theme that Shabbat is something that protects us, that nourishes us, has been consistent throughout our entire history. Call Shabbat the original mental health day if you want, but we came up with it first. And it is something that we so often need and don't always give ourselves the chance to appreciate. So, when it comes to announcements, there are so many things going on here at Congregation Schaarai Zedek for all ages, all stages, all interests. There's something for everybody. If you'd like to see all of the things that are happening at our temple, you can find them in your Shabbat handout. And you can head to our temple website, zedek.org, Z-E-D-E-K. Make it your homepage because we're always adding all kinds of new and interesting events, and we'd love to have you come to any or all of them. And it really is just a delight to be here on this Shabbat. I'm so glad we're all here together. And that means that it's time for us to begin to bring our service to a close, although the wonder and calm of Shabbat will stay with us as we go. So we will now rise together before the open ark for Aleinu. Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon hakol, latet gedula leotzer breshit, shelo asanu kegoye ha'aratzot, velo samanu kemishpechot ha'adama, shelo sam chalkenu kahem, v'goralenu kechol hamonam. V'anachnu korim u'mishtachavim u'modim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu v'nemar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu bayom Adonai echad, u'shemo, u'shemo, u'shemo echad. And we are seated. There are stars up above, so far away we only see their light. Long, long after the star itself is gone. And so it is with people that we loved. Their memories keep shining ever brightly, though their time with us is done. But the stars that light up the darkest night, these are the lights that guide us. As we live our days, these are the ways we remember. At this time that we think of those who protected us and took care of us, who shared so generously their love and wisdom with us, those who are no longer with us, who have died in recent days or in years past, we join together as a community to remember them. We remember those who have been recently laid to rest, Marilyn Eichler, Wayne Port, Teddy Roush, and we think of Richard Rick Levy, who is to be laid to rest. We also remember those whose yahrzeits we commemorate on Shabbat, the memorials of whose deaths we observe. Robert Nguio, Samuel G. Arison, Fred Atlas, Jean Barkin, Minnie Bennett, Francis Blumenthal, Irving Blumenthal, Philip B. Brynan, Fred Chekano, Judy Coulter, Matthew Coulter, Sandra Dreyer, Rena Egnatz, Alvin Fisher, Robert Fleeter, Louis Skobioff, Rose Skobioff, Lois Greenberg, Diantha Perry Gross, Jules Horwitz, David Kleinman, Joseph Lanson, Susan Lanson, Jack Layton, Elaine Leopold, Isidoro Lerman, Hyman Lieber, Leon Lutzker, Herb Mershon, Sylvia Messerman, Edna Novik, Seymour Rhodes, Edith Rifkin, Golda Rosen, Jack Rothstein, Neil Schwartz, Herman Hy Siegel, Germaine Segra, Rose Seinfeld, Howard S. Shapiro, Sheila Shear, Samuel Solomon, Eleanor Marks Stein, Jerome Thorner, Marcy Travin, Barbara Jo Ward, Sylvia Pianin Weinbrand, Edith Weisbond, Robert S. Wolf, and Carl Zuckerman. And to those names, we add the names of all of our loved ones who, though they are no longer here, they are always in our hearts. If there's someone you are thinking of at this time whose memory you are calling to mind, I invite you to take a brief moment to silently remember them the way that you always want to remember them, in their brightest, strongest, and kindest moments. We entwine memory and love in the ancient words of the Mourner's Kaddish. We'll rise together as a community, offering this prayer that gives thanks to God for sharing such special lives with us. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, ve'alma divarach hiruteh v'yamlich malchuteh, v'chayechon u'v'yom echon, u'v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala ubizman kariv imru. Amen. Yehi Shemei Rabbah Mivarach Leolam Ulalmei Almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal Shemei dekudashah b'richu. Le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Damiran be'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehi Shlama Rabba min Shemaya. V'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru. Amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved. And we'll say together, Amen. And we are seated as we invite up anyone in this room who's under the age of 18 to get first dibs on our challah. It's anybody. I think it's a tempting offer, you know. You get to take the biggest pieces. Here, I'm going to give you that. Here. All right. Seeing some familiar faces here. Guys, here, stay up here. We got to bless before we eat. All right. So let's say our blessing together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Hey, Avon, Shabbat Shalom. You can eat now. That's the important question. Yeah, you can. All right. Well, it is time for us to sing our closing song, I think one that a lot of us will be familiar with, and it is our custom here at Congregation Schaarai Zedek that we rise together as a community. You can put your arms on the people around you if you like each other, or not. And we like to sway back and forth. It gives us a beautiful Shabbat spirit. So let's sing together, Adon Olam. Adon Olam Asher Malach B'terem Kol Yitzir Nivra Le'et Nasa V'chefto Kol Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Azai Melech Shemo Nikra B'yado Afkid Ruchi Be'et Ishan Be'ayira Ve'im Ruchi Geviati Adonai li velo ira Adonai li velo ira Adonai oz le'amo yitain Adonai avarech et amo v'shalom. May God bless this people with strength, and let us go out on this Shabbat and spread the gift of calm, of peace, of creativity, of the things that make us human to the entire world. Shabbat Shalom.
is a past in every portrait, and there is a truth in every tale, and all the days that came before us
stands amidst the wild. There is a mountain in every mother, her sturdy force of heart and mind. The door of our door, Nagi, God Lecha. The light in us shines on and on. The door of our door, Nagi, God Lecha. Time may pass, but it's never gone. There is no story without a sadness, and not a life without love. When we look back to the days that have passed us, we hold on to the lights above. There is a dream
There is a dream
in every daughter.
in every daughter.
There is a song
There is a song in every song.
song. Is all our
As
tears
all our
are
tears
made of water.
made of water.
There is a home from which we come. The door of our door, Nagi, God Lecha. The light in us shines on and on. The door of our door, Nagi, God Lecha. ותפארת במקדשו, ותפארת במקדשו, ותפארת במקדשו, ותפארת במקדשו, ותפארת במקדשו, ותפארת במקדשו, ותפארת במקדשו.
Sweet as honey on our tongue. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu במצוותיו וציוונו לעסוק בדברי תורה, לעסוק בדברי תורה. Sweet as honey, sweet as honey, sweet as honey on our tongue. Sweet as honey, sweet as honey, sweet as honey on our tongue. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu במצוותיו וציוונו לעסוק בדברי תורה, לעסוק בדברי תורה. Sweet as honey, sweet as honey, sweet as honey on our tongue. Sweet as honey, sweet as honey, sweet as honey on our tongue. אלים אדוני מי כמוך נהדר בקודש נורתי לורד אוסף Who is like you? Who is like you? Who is like you? Adonai. Who is like you? Who is like you? Who is like you? Adonai. מלכותך ראו בניך בוקע הים לפני משה ומרים צלינו אנו והללו אדוני נוח לעולם ועד Who is like you? Adonai. Who is like you? Who is like you? Who is like you? Adonai. Who is like you? Who is like you? Who is like you? Adonai. Who is like you? Who is like you? Who is like you? Adonai.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom V'hamidenu malkeinu lechayim Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom V'hamidenu malkeinu lechayim
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom v'hamidenu malkeinu lechayim Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom v'hamidenu malkeinu lechayim Ushmor Zetenu Uvoe
אתה ועד השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום והעמידנו מלכנו לחיים השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום והעמידנו
אדוני אלוהינו לשלום והעמידנו
אדוני אלוהינו לשלום והשכיבנו
אדוני אלוהינו לשלום והעמידנו
אדוני אלוהינו לשלום והשכיבנו
אדוני אלוהינו לשלום והעמידנו מלכנו לחיים.
כי צריך כל אדם